Hello and welcome to the AFL Auto Blends 3D car creation channel. Following on from my 22 cars that I'd like to build yesterday, I thought I'd follow it up today with 22 British cars that I'd like to model. In future episodes I will do 22 European and finally 22 American cars I'd like to build. But this is based on British cars. So the first one is the PA Cresta. Vauxhall PA Cresta 1957. Very similar lines to the American muscle cars. Lots and lots of details on them. As you can see, a very nice and sought after car now in England. The second model I'd like to do is the Morgan Aeromax of 2009. I think this is a tremendous looking car with lots of curves, etc. It's a very nice car. As you can see from the back, it's reminiscent of days gone by, I think, cars similar to Bugattis, etc. But what a wonderful looking car. So that's my second. Next on the list is a throwback from my young days, really, a Lotus Cortina Mark 1, 1963 to 1966. My dad had a Mark 1 Cortina. Unfortunately, it wasn't a Lotus, but tremendous looking motor. Number 4 on my list was a Ford Escort Mark 1 Mexico. Wonderful car. Back in the day, before I was old enough to drive, I was in the Air Training Corps, and a guy used to give me a lift home. Bit older guy, obviously, as he was driving, and he had a Ford Escort Mark 1. It was a converted Mexico, and he had a rally racing engine in it. Brilliant car, great memories. The next one I'd like to build is a Mark II Cortina, another Ford Cortina Mark II 1600E, circa 1970. Now, this is a car that I've always wanted to own, and unfortunately never got around to it. So that's a Ford Cortina Mark II 1600E. Quite a powerful car. The next on the list is a Jaguar Mark 1, 1955, the original cops and robbers cars in England. Super car. You see it on lots of TV programs over here, and mainly with, as I say, cops and robbers, but great lines, fantastic car. The next on my list is another Jaguar. It's a Jaguar XJS 1991. Again, this has tremendous lines on it. It's a lovely car. I don't know if any of you watched Simon Templar, The Saint, starring Roger Moore. He drove one of these in that series, and that's where I fell in love with the car. Next on the list is a Ford Consul Mark II 1956, and again, my dad had one of these before he had his Cortina, so that's a reason why I want to model this one. But lovely car. This is the TVR Cigaris 2005. Now, this is, I think I mentioned to you last night, this is a company that in TVR, a company in Blackpool, England, small company that manufactured cars, and this one is unbelievably nice looking, lovely looking car. So that was number 9 on my list. Number 10 is a Ford Zephyr Mark II 1966. Very much like the Ford Consul, but it got a bigger engine, and it was based on the same body but a longer version of it. But once again, a nice car to model. Next on my list is a Ford Prefect. Strangely enough, earlier this year, before COVID struck, I was going to invest in a classic car, because I just took early retirement and thought I'd spend some money on buying a classic car, and this was the car I wanted to buy. Reasonably, fairly inexpensive, but a lovely old car, and hopefully once we're all out and about again, I'd like to buy one of those, hopefully. Next on my list is an E-Type Jag. I mean, what can you say? I think it's probably one of the most beautiful cars ever made. I'd like to do more than one version. I'd like to do a convertible and a hardtop. So look, what fantastic lines on this car. So I definitely want to model this in various forms. Next on my list is an Aston Martin DBS, and this was circa 1967 to 1972. Again, a wonderful car. Lovely lines on that one. Number 14 is another Aston, DB6. As you can probably tell, I've got great love for Aston Martins. We'll probably never ever afford one, but it's good to look at them, and if I can model one, great. Very similar to some Ferraris at the back here, but a nice looking car. Next one on the list is dropping into Ford again. It's a Ford Consul Capri. Again, this has very strong American looking tyres by the looks of this car, with the fins at the back. See the fins as they go round at the back there, and again, a nice car to model. Did some different curves here and there. So next on the list is an MGB Roadster. I've got various books on these, and I would love to own one, but it would have to be the Roadster type, 1969-ish, with wire wheels. It's got to have wire wheels, not those, and chrome bumpers, and not the rubber bumpers. I don't like those, but a lovely car. Back in the day, this was an executive car again, but I like the lines on it. It's a Rover P5B, circa 1958 to 1967. Years and years ago, sort of late 70s, early 80s, there was a magazine out called Street Machine, and which was there was one of these that was customised, which is the next photo. So this was customised, and I fell in love with that car, so I thought I'd model that version. Next on the list is a Triumph Stag. Quintessential English. This is again a lovely looking car, Triumph Stag. Nice looking car. Next on the list is another Jaguar. It's an XK 120, 1948 to 1954. Beautiful car, nice lines on it. Number 20 on the list. Just a few to go now. Number 20 is an Austin Healey 3000, 1959 to 1976. Lovely little sports car. Next on the list is a Ford Capri. Every boy or every young man around my age would want one of these. This was the Brooklands version, a Ford Capri Mark III Brooklands version. Fantastic car. And last but not least on the list is a Jensen Interceptor. Super quick, lovely car. This is the Interceptor FF, and it's 1966 to 1971. So I hope you enjoyed this video. These are the British cars I want to model if I ever get round to them. Certainly going to try. So hopefully you enjoyed it. If you've got any questions on English cars, send me a comment. In the future there will be, as I say, 22 European cars and 22 American cars. I must admit there's thousands and thousands of cars I like. But anyway, thank you very much.